video, you join us on day 4 as we leave Tongue campsite on the causeway over the Kyle of Tongue Sea Loch. We were treated to panoramic views across the loch. We had mountains in the distance. It was absolutely stunning. From Tongue, the scenery just became ever more spectacular. Much of the drive was spent alongside the beautiful Loch Eriboll. We stopped to photograph the picturesque Ardniki lime kilns, which are located on a small spit of land which juts into Loch Eriboll. There was assigned vehicle pull-in for this purpose. We also stopped at the Golden Eagle zip line located above the beach. We've just pulled up at the zip line place. Sadly they're not running today. Although it's a beautiful sunny day, it's extremely windy. I don't like heights, so at least I had a good excuse for not having to go on it. They do have a Facebook page where they post updates every morning so you can see whether or not the zip line is open. We took advantage of the stop to visit the stunning beach. It had white sand and turquoise water and very interesting rocks if geology is your thing. We reluctantly dragged ourselves away from the beach and made our way to the next stop on our itinerary. This was the fascinating Smoo Caves at Durness. This is a must-see stop. It's a really unique cave that's half sea cave and half freshwater cave. There is a good-sized car park with toilet facilities. The caves can be reached from 2 sides via a fair number of steps, but I promise you the reward is well worth the effort. It's free to visit the waterfall within the cave. I'll put a clip up of where the waterfall should have been. At the time we visited, there had been no rain for a number of weeks, so there was no waterfall. There was, however, a short, reasonably priced caving trip available, which I absolutely recommend. It involved climbing down a short ladder onto a small dinghy to go further into the caves. You did have to leave the boat and walk across slippery rocks once you were further in, so appropriate footwear here is a must. A hard hat was provided. The guide was very knowledgeable. From Smoo Cave, it was a short drive to Balnakeil Beach. The beach was simply stunning. Another huge stretch of white sand with dunes and a blue sea that looked like it belonged in the Caribbean. Our next stop was the short drive back to Durness Beach, which has a small car park and is another lovely spot to enjoy the views. We had been really spoilt with the number of gorgeous beaches we had been able to explore. It's gorgeous. That water looks so inviting, but I bet it's freezing. We spent the night here at Durness at the campsite. On day 5, we left Durness and started our journey down the legendary west coast. Our first stop was Scourie Beach, and then it was on to the iconic Kylescue Bridge, There is a large parking area here and plenty of opportunity for photographs. The scenery is just awesome, so we stopped here for some time. After crossing the bridge, we stopped to visit the Wailing Widow waterfall, which was spectacular and well worth the scramble over a whole bunch of boulders and rocks to get to it. From here, Quinnag viewpoint was only a short distance up the hill, so we couldn't resist stopping for more photos. We then headed back up the B869 to do the Drumbeg loop, and we stopped at the Drumbeg viewpoint, which is about halfway round this loop. This loop's a narrow and sometimes steep and twisting road, but it does have passing places. We were in our T6 VW transporter, so we had no problems. We finished our day at Clachtoll Beach, where we spent the night. We had booked onto Clachtoll Beach campsite for 3 nights, as we felt there was enough to see and do in that area to be able to use Clachtoll as a base for the next 2 days. Plus, we wanted a bit of a breathing space built in, and Clachtoll campsite has great facilities for that. We were glad to have booked ahead, as the campsite full signs were out when we arrived, and every day that we were there. It's easy to see why it's so popular, but I'll save that one for a future video. Well, we arrived at Clachtoll Beach campsite in the rain, and sadly it continued to rain all the time that we were there. This meant we had to rearrange our plans. It was only a fine intermittent drizzle in the morning, so off we set to visit the nearby Clashnessie beach. There is parking opposite, but there are time restrictions for late afternoon. A short distance up the hill from the beach there was a sign for a waterfall, so we just had to go and visit it, and I'm so glad that we did. The walk was easy enough, even in the drizzle, although there were stepping stones over some water, and the waterfall was just spectacular. We then headed to Stoer Lighthouse and the Old Man of Stoer. There is a seastack about a 2-mile walk along the coast from the lighthouse. This is not to be confused with the Old Man of Stoer on Skye. 2 different stacks spelt differently. The walk was very boggy in places, not helped by the rain, and it was raining heavily by the time we got back to the van, and we were completely soaked. Wet enough for you, love? I'm going to take my wet jacket off because I don't want to sit on the seat with this on.
Staying in your wet trousers.
Oh well, I've got no choice really. I'm not doing a change in the car park. Well, 1 drowned rat.
2.
2 drowned rats, Stu as well. So we headed back to the campsite to dry off and chill out for the remainder of the afternoon. I will be sharing our itinerary for days 7 through to 10 in a future video. We do hope you join us for the rest of our NC 500 trip. If you found this video helpful, please consider subscribing and turning on notifications, and please drop us a comment. We love to hear from you and we reply to every comment. We have many more travel videos on the way and we would love you to join us. Thank you.